Hey guys, welcome to Pokédex, the channel where I build decks for the Pokemon trading card game. Today we're going to be looking at a fighting deck from Fates Collide. As you guys know, we have Regirock EX in here, powering up our fighting types, and we also have Zygarde EX ready to deal a million damage to our opponent's Pokemon, and of course we have Carbink Break ready to charge up our guys on the bench with its Diamond Gift attack. As I mentioned in my Fates Collide set review, if you guys remember, Regirock EX I think is a super cool Pokemon because I really think it powers up a lot of fighting type strategies, just makes them super destructive, and the damage output is so huge that you can just build a lot of different types of fighting decks. Really, we could play all sorts of different Pokemon in here, and I think I will actually do some more videos about fighting type Pokemon in the future, all powered by Regirock EX. But this time I decided to build the most generic deck possible, so this is like a fighting type good stuff deck. So I'm throwing in all the bunch of Pokemon all the fighting type Pokemon that we want there, all the different attackers with different weaknesses and all that, so that we have an attacker for each situation. And because we're playing Corina, and Corina can search for any tool in our deck or any item, I'm playing a lot of different items in here so that we have the card we need for every situation. So I think I'm going to start by talking about not the cards in the deck, but a card that is missing from the deck, and that card is Shaymin-EX. I'm trying to build this deck without any Shaymin-EX, and the reason for that is I want to have a bench filled with Pokemon, especially Regirock, to power up our attack. And because of that, we don't have that much bench space, and we could be playing Skyfield, but I just feel like playing Fighting Stadium is just too good not to. So I'm going to try to build this deck without Shaymin-EX. I mean, if you count the draw cards, draw supporters, you'll see that we have 13 draw cards without even counting the VS Seeker. So I think that might be enough. We really just need the first Corina to get going. But yeah, I've been testing the deck, and I'm quite happy with where it's at. Maybe we can improve on it if we're too worried about that. But at the time being, I'm quite happy to be playing this deck without any Shaymin. So without further ado, let's start looking at the cards that are actually into the deck. So we start off with Carbink. I'm actually playing a split of Carbink, so we're playing 3 basics. So we got the 2 Carbink with Safeguard. Obviously, this guy protects itself against EX Pokemon, and it's a pain in the neck for the opponent to deal with. We have one. What happened here? We have one Carbink with Energy Keeper. This guy, the basic energy attached to our basic Pokemon can't be discarded by effects of your opponent's attacks, abilities, or trainer cards. So we protect ourselves from hammers. I think it's worth to run one of these guys just because of that. If nothing else, we keep it in our bench, protecting our energies from our opponent's hammers. And then we have, of course, a 3 Carbink Break. Diamond Gift is such a good attack, such a nice acceleration of energy. You cannot accelerate any energy, so we can actually accelerate the strong energy, not only the basics, into our guys, and it's 2 energy for a single attack, and that's super good, super awesome. And then as far as attackers go, we actually are playing one Alucha. Only one. It's not the best thing in the world right now, but I think it's still good, especially if we stick a Fighting Fury Belt in this guy. It just goes up to 110 HP and dealing 70 base damage, which is awesome. It only works against EX Pokemon, of course, and there's actually a lot of non-EX Pokemon that are very good right now. But yeah, I think it's still worth it to play one Alucha, plus it retreats for free, so if nothing else, we can promote Alucha and then retreat into one of our guys. We have one Lucario EX. The reason for Lucario is, of course, we could be playing 3 Zygarde, but I think it's worth it to play different types because they offer different weaknesses. Lucario EX, unfortunately, the weakness is a lot more painful because it's against Psychic type, so Night March deals extra damage to this guy, and it's one of the most played decks. If not for that, I think actually Lucario would potentially we would actually play 2 Lucario and 1 Zygarde instead, because Corkscrew Smash is the better attack. For 2 energy, it draws us cards, so that's really nice, and our damage output is probably going to be awesome anyways. Good enough that we generally don't need to use Somersault Kick unless we're dealing with actually non-EXs, because it's way easier to just knock them out in a single hit using Somersault Kick, and even against the X's sometimes that doesn't happen quite there yet. We don't really get quite there yet, so we will be using Corkscrew Smash a lot more if we can, just to draw extra cards. But yeah, Zygarde EX, we are playing 2 of this guy. It's also really nice. I mean, the attacks escalate really nicely, and of course Zygarde has another advantage over Lucario, which is the tool Power Memory. We'll get to that in a second. I'm playing 3 Regirock EX. I think there might be decks that want 4 even, like the Oxys used to be played in Speed Lugia decks, for example, back when Plasma was legal. And I think that we can actually build some sort of fighting type speed deck in the future, but for now I'm only playing 3 of this guy. It will have to be enough. We generally only bench 2, which is an increase of 20 damage, which is kind of insane just to having Pokemon in the bench. Of course, Bedrock Press is not a great attack because it costs 3 energy, but it's passable. I mean, it 2-hit knocks out any non-EX, and with a couple of muscle or strong energies and a muscle band, we are dealing 160 damage, so that also kills non-EX Pokemon really nicely. So let's start looking into the items. We are playing a lot of one-offs, as I mentioned, because Korrina is such a very good card in this deck. So we're playing 1 Enhanced Hammer. This is a tempo card, tempo-ish card, so if the opponent is building something in the bench, we can potentially knock out the active and then remove the energy from the bench so that they don't have a nice comeback. So Enhanced Hammer is in here for that reason. We are playing Escape Rope. I think I'm going to talk about all the switching cards that we're playing. We're playing 1 Escape Rope, 1 Switch, and 2 Floatstone. We want Floatstone a lot to put on our Regirock because it's some sort of weakness in our deck that the opponent can Lysander out the Regirock, because this guy costs 3 energy to retreat, so it's not going to happen a lot that we have all 3 energy on the Regirock. So sticking a Floatstone in there is awesome, but sometimes we might have a tool on one of our guys and we want to retreat from that. So we have the Switch in here, and an Escape Rope that we can use to, we can play the Escape Rope, switch into a guy that has a Floatstone or even an Alucha that retreats for free, and then actually retreat into one of our guys. So it's kind of like a half a Lysander, if you will. So it's an item. We can, if we don't want the effect, we can just grab the Switch or a Floatstone with a Korrina. So all will be nice, hopefully. We have 1 Max Potion. I think it's worth it to play 1. I have actually played it in a game with a lot of success because it basically denied my opponent prizes, and I just retreated with my guy, used the Max Potion, discarded the energy, but then I actually promoted the Carbink break and recharged the guy again. So because the rate of the energy coming back is so good, I think we can afford to play Max Potion in this deck. We have 1 Professor's Letter, obviously to grab it Korrina, just so that we can turn the supporter into energy, guaranteed energy. We have 2 Random Receiver. This is a card that's so good in this deck. Usually, I used to play Trainer's Mail with Korrina, because when we lost the computer search that we used to play with Korrina back when Korrina first was legal, we always had an out, like to play Korrina, and we grab the computer search and we can then exchange it for a Sycamore. Then computer search got rotated out, as you guys know, and usually we didn't really have that option. So if we already have a Sycamore in the discard pile, we can also always grab the Via Seeker. But if we don't, we are kind of in a bad place. So we either grab an Ultra Ball for a Shaymin, which we can't do in this deck because once again we don't play Shaymin, or we got the Trainer's Mail, and we had to cross our fingers and hope that one of the top cards of the deck was the supporter. Random Receiver doesn't guarantee that we draw the supporter that we want, but it does guarantee that we keep looking until we find a supporter. So it doesn't only look at the top 4 cards of the deck, it looks until we find a supporter, which I think is very good. It's exactly what we want out of that. So if we need to exchange a Korrina for something else, for another supporter, grabbing a Random Receiver is super nice. Plus, the chances that we draw into one of the good supporters like the Anna or the Sycamore are high because we play more of those than anything else. So we have 1 Starling Megaphone. You guys know what that does. We grab it with Korrina and we get rid of tools. We have 1 Super Rod. We can shuffle energy with it, but because we have Carbink, sometimes we just shuffle Pokemon and forget about it. We don't really need to shuffle too many Pokemon either, so I'm quite happy with just a single Super Rod. 2 Ultra Ball. I know I'm playing Corina, and I know it's really easy to grab Pokemon with this deck, but Ultra Ball is in here for another reason. It allows us to discard energy, and that's really important in this deck if we want to accelerate some energy into our field with the Carbink break. So yeah, sometimes I find myself just using Corina for an Ultra Ball and just grabbing 2 Pokemon basically and being able to discard 2 energy to accelerate them into play. We have 4 via Seeker. I don't think we should be playing less than 4. And then as far as supporters go, we have 1 AZ. I think it's worth it to play. Oh, okay, it's the 5th card switching that we have in the deck, Pokemon switching card, and it's also the 2nd max potion. So I think by playing this supporter, we can have both the extra switching card and the max potion, which I think is fine with this deck. Also allows us to switch energy. So if we have the Carbink and we don't want to attack with one of our guys, we can use AZ, discard the energy, and then put them onto another Pokemon. So that's also a nice trick that we can do. We're playing for Corina. It's totally justifiable, as I explained. It's the most important supporter to start with. We have 2 Lysander. Really, really nice to take the knockouts where we want them. Of course, we have 3 N. Because this deck takes such quick knockouts, I'm not playing the 4th. I'm only playing 3 and then 4 Sycamore, which is the best supporter, period. And it also allows us to discard cards. In this deck, that's actually nice. There's sometimes Pokemon that we don't want in certain matchups. And of course, we also discard energy that would accelerate. Once again, keep repeating myself, but everything, the synergy is quite tight in this deck. We have 3 Fighting Stadium. Once again, one of the reasons that we don't play Shaymin, the damage output with this deck is just bonkers. And as far as tools go, we're actually playing a very eclectic assortment of tools. So we have 2 Fighting Fury Belt. I think this is the best tool generally to put in our attackers. Be it Lucario, Alucha, or Zygarde. I think the Fighting Fury Belt is actually the best thing because it just brings their HP to a very high standard. So whether you have a non-EX with a 110 that deals a lot of damage to EX Pokemon, or we have Lucario at 220, or this guy actually at 230, which is insane. It also increases the damage that we do by 10. Yeah, generally it's the best tool to have. Of course, in some situations we want others. We have 2 Floatstone in here, once again for the Regirock mostly. But sometimes we do want to switch from one of our guys. We have 1 Muscle Band, a single Muscle Band. Sometimes the 10 extra damage is better than the extra HP with the Fighting Fury Belt. So having a Muscle Band in here is nice. Plus, it also can be played on the Carbink break. And it's actually quite nice in that guy because a Fighting Fury Belt doesn't work if we evolve. So yeah. 1 Muscle Band. We can grab it with the Corina if we really want to. And then we have a single Power Memory. It's obviously a very important card, obviously a very strong card, but it's a finisher. We generally don't use Power Memory a lot unless we are taking the last prizes, so I'm only playing 1. It's not, generally we build the first Zygarde with the Fighting Fury Belt, and then we keep the second one around so that we can stick the Power Memory on it. And yeah, that's it. I can't really scroll right now, so you guys can't see that. I'm quite annoyed by it, but sorry about that. So it's 2 Floatstone, 1 of Muscle Band, 1 Power Memory. And then as far as energy goes, we're playing 9, so it's 4 strong energy, as many as we can play, and then the 5 basic energy. So that's the deck. Let's go play it. Let's see how we fare. Alright, let's go play our match. And we're playing against the fighting deck. So maybe this is the mirror. I don't really know. Maybe the opponent also doesn't play Shaymin in his deck and is playing exactly the same thing that we are. Okay, so we won the coin flip, and yes, we want to go first. Using our second attack first is better, and we start off with a Carbink, so maybe we will have the break next turn, and we do have the the Corina in hand, so okay, so what do I do here? I think I will play the Corina, and I will try to get maybe an Ultra Ball if I have it, because I can use the Professor's Letter. And I don't even know if I play this guy or not, so let's just... Okay, there's the Ultra Ball, I can see it from here. So I think the play here is to use the Corina. And I think we get the Regirock. We have the break in there, which is cool, and we get this Ultra Ball. The question is, do I play them? I mean, I will play an energy, and I think it's going to be the basic, because it doesn't really matter the amount of damage this guy does, and I think I will play this turn. I mean, I will lose the Ultra Ball, but I will have the energy in the discard pile. I mean, I'd rather have the Ultra Ball in my hand, because the opponent might play an N, but at the same time, yeah, it's kind of awkward. I mean, the fact that N is back in the format makes us play in very different ways that we used to. We have to worry about so much more. I mean, I could have played the Floatstone, but if I had, the opponent could play a Starling Megaphone, for example, getting rid of it, and it could hurt us later. And I think I don't really mind drawing it again if my opponent actually played N. He goes for the Corina, so I guess it's not something to worry about. But yeah, the fact that N is in the format sometimes makes us play things a little bit differently. So our opponent is playing Landorus, which I think is a lot worse than Carbink Break, to be honest. And a Battle Compressor, okay. Let's see what gets compressed. Whoa, what was that? 2 Dome Fossil. Huh, so this is a Fossil deck? Yeah, Fossil Excavation Kit. So he's bringing the fossils back into his hand and is now playing them, trying to get the Kabutos into play, and he fails both. So yeah, no Kabutos this turn. Oh, another Fossil Excavation Kit, and he brings both back. Yeah, this was I'd be surprised if my opponent didn't hit. Okay, so there's the first one. Good news for us is that my opponent chose not to put an energy into the discard pile with a Battle Compressor. I think it would be better maybe than the Sycamore, because he must have draw, right? If he doesn't have draw, I think it's just wrong to use the Corina there. So okay, let's just play the N to use the Corina and get the Battle Compressor instead of Via Seeker, for example. We did draw energy, which is nice, so we can actually put them down on the Zygarde, and we can charge them up with Diamond Gift. Let's go, bam. We did fill our opponent's hand also with that N, but I don't think it's that worrisome, to be honest. I just feel like once we build up our huge guys, he's going to be in trouble. So he's evolving his dude. Let's see what this guy does. 150 HP, Cling deals 50 and you heal the same amount, and then X-Scissor 80 plus 60 if you flip a coin. So with a Muscle Band that's 160, with a Stadium or with a Strong Energy it's 180, so you kind of have to be careful with that. I think Zygarde is still a little bit above that, so my opponent just goes all in with all those Muscle Bands. So if we find the Starling Megaphone, we just get rid of a lot of stuff from him, and he's playing more fossils. And okay, there's another restart Pokemon, and he shows to charge up the Landorus, so and he's exchanging them. Okay, so he's basically worried that I kill his Landorus. I don't really know. I don't think it's that worrisome to give your opponent a prize. I mean, it just deals less damage now than he would have. Okay, let's see. If I attack with this guy, I'm dealing 120. I'm killing his dude, but maybe it's just better to charge up something else on the bench. I don't know. I think this thing here is okay, and I'm going to play the Sycamore because I want to discard this energy. I want to see if I... Oh, okay. Max Potion is actually an interesting card because we can use it on our break and protect it further. So yeah, I think I'm going to retreat here. So we discard the energy first, and yeah, we can heal off the damage, and then we can actually play the energy again. So we lose no tempo with this play, and we just... Land's Wrath is Landorus away. Start taking prizes, start piling on some pressure. He's going to have a hard time knocking out our guy, because even if he's Starling Megaphone, Starling Megaphone and DCE was only, plus Stadium would only be 180, so he kind of needs 10 extra damage to kill our Zygarde X, even if he had everything. So he does have the Stadium. I don't know if he even plays DCs in that deck. So he plays the N. It's not that bad. I mean, we're still drawing 5 cards, right? We do have the enhanced hammer, so if the opponent actually puts a strong energy in one of his benched guys, we might use the enhanced hammer like a tempo swing after we kill his Landorus, something like that. Okay, he has a lot of shinies and he hits us for 80, and let's see, we have Easy, we have Zygarde. Yeah, I can definitely kill his Lander, so I don't need to play this enhanced hammer, but I'm going to Korrina for, I guess, another Regirock. And what else do I get out of this? I'm still not sure. Maybe I just, I don't know, maybe I just get a way to retreat, because I don't really need anything else. I mean, I don't know, let's see. Could also go for the Via Seeker. I mean, we have so many options. That I don't really know. I think I'm just going to grab the switch just in case he Lysander's something out. I mean, we don't need to play the easy. We can just battle. Random receiver for something good. We can even sell Storm here if I'm counting right. Yeah, we just kill this dude and we heal 30. So we are at 50. So that means we're still 180 HP, and that means he needs, I guess, a DCE, but I don't really know if he's playing them. Yeah, DC, and he still needs to flip heads, so it's not likely that our Zygarde is going to go down this turn. Not highly likely. I mean, the fact that he played... Okay, so he's going to end us again. That sucks. But it's not the worst thing ever. I mean, we still have a lot of outs in our deck. Let's see what we draw, and... Okay, we have a Sycamore, so that's perfect. And we also have the Ultra Ball that we can use discarding Fighting Stadiums, which is perfect. So, okay, my opponent did not play the DCE, so he's just going to use Cling. I was going to say back then that it kind of makes me feel like he does have the DCEs. Okay, we can deal 150 damage right now, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's 150. So I'm just going to discard these cards and just get... Guess we can go for the Carbink. Let's see. Yeah, we have Lysanders and we have Korrina in the deck, so I think... Yeah, and we also have N. None of those really matters, I guess. Okay, so I'm getting the Carbink. I was getting ahead of myself because I was thinking if I'm going to play this thing or not. I guess the worst thing that could happen, yeah, the worst thing is hitting the Sycamore, and we just did. But at the same time, I'm not sure that we're going to be playing many more Sycamores in the future. So I was kind of hoping that we drew like a Lysander, so that we threw it in the discard pile for later VS Seekers. But it doesn't really matter too much. I mean, I think we just Lance Wrath here, getting rid of his guy for 150. Exactly, yeah. Those Regirocks are pulling their weight, and we drew another VS Seeker. That's nice. If our opponent ends us, we have more outs this way. So it was a nice draw. He's definitely going to kill our Zygarde, but that's actually cool if he does put the energy on the Hawlucha, because Hawlucha has no way to hit the Carbink. So we're kind of making it awkward for our opponent. I mean, we're playing like massively strong EXs, and he's playing like fossil Pokemon, so we can't really complain about the matchup. I think our opponent is handicapping himself, but at the same time we have to take 6 prizes, and he only needs to knock out 3 of our Pokemon, basically. So, and he's hitting for a lot of damage. He's hitting for 100 damage right now. So, Flying Press, bam, 240 damage on that guy. Okay. We promote this dude, and here I could N, but I think it's more important to play the Korrina just to get the attacker that we want to charge up. And I think could go for the Zygarde. Maybe the 10 HP will be important, but actually, if the opponent ends us, I think I'd rather have a Lucario. So I'm going to grab the Lucario. We are getting very low on prizes at this point, so. Just going, I don't even know right now. Maybe I just go for the Super Rod. Maybe I go for the Starling Megaphone. It doesn't matter too much. I don't think I'll play it right now. Yeah, I think I'll keep it. So Yeah, I'm going to put this thing here. Might lose it for stunning Megaphone, but yeah, I'm just going to hit for 10 extra damage. This way, we threaten to kill the Hawlucha, so the opponent, if he switches Pokemon, which he might, I mean, the Hawlucha doesn't deal damage to the Carbink. It cannot be another Hawlucha because it doesn't deal damage to the Carbink, and he has to spend another energy, which would actually be nice for us. So we are actually threatening to knock out the Hawlucha, and I think that's important right there. Okay, so our opponent promotes Salandras. I'm assuming he has an energy. Maybe he's just stalling, but I think he has an energy, yeah. So he's charging up his dudes. I'd be surprised if he didn't go for that. Okay, so he's in fact going to Anas, so I'm really glad I got the Lucario. And we actually drew really nicely here. We can... Oh, we also have the Super Rod. So this guy... Yeah, it's mandatory. We have to take the 2 energy, right? So it would be kind of awkward to have 4 energy on that guy. So I kind of want to charge up another thing with our Zygarde, like at the Zygarde with our Carbink. So I think what I'm going to do is use the Super Rod. And I get an energy and the Zygarde and something else. So yeah, it's going to be energy and then Zygarde, and I don't even know. Yeah, I cannot grab any of these cards, so I'm just going for the Carbink. And right now I just Corina here and make sure that we get that Zygarde, I guess. There we go. And here, let's see, is Enhanced Hammer important? I don't think it is. I mean, if the opponent plays a strong energy next turn, I hope we kill this guy immediately. So let's just go for, I guess I'll go for the switch. I mean, it's just making sure that we can switch out of anything. Could also go for the Floatstone, but in case my opponent does not Anas or anything like that, I'd rather not discard the energy from this Carbink. So let's just keep the game flowing, and our opponent is kind of in a very bad spot because he has to go through 2 EXs, right? And we have 2 EXs that are charged up right now, so... Okay, so he's going to attack with his dude. I don't think he even needs to... So he's dealing 100 damage, so yeah, he's killing us for sure. Doesn't even need to hit has on that thing. And I'm just think I'm going to promote the Lucario. I need to find an energy here. Hopefully we will. Cannot go for the N, unfortunately, I think. And neither can I go for Corina because I already spent the Professor's Letter, so... Wow, no energy. Oh, that sucks. I am going to get rid of the most cards I can, I think, because I will use Corkscrew Smash, so I will play everything that I can here just to draw 2 extra cards because I'm getting really low. I don't really want to play this Sycamore. But yeah, this was kind of bad, and now we drew the energy, of course. So... I mean, the opponent still has to... I don't know. It's kind of scary, actually. But... Wow, it plays an energy on the same Pokemon. When he's Lysandering out the Regirock. Oh, too bad for my opponent. I do have the Easy in hand, so... I guess it sucks for him. But he... Oh, okay, so he's using the first attack, so he's healing off some damage. I don't think it matters too much because we have the energy. I'm just... Let me just make sure that we can actually... 1, 2... 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I don't think I need to play the strong. I think just the basic is enough. Hope I didn't make a mistake with my calculations. But this matters because we want to keep the strong if we can for the Zygarde EX. So that the Zygarde with just a single increment can also hit 150 later if we need to kill another Kabutops. We drew a Carbink, which we don't really intend on benching at this point. rather just get a Regirock for the 10 extra damage that we are missing on the Zygarde for the 150. Okay, Pokemon Center Lady, that makes really no difference here. We're just taking 1-8 KOs every time that we can, and our opponent just concedes the game. I mean, he was handicapping himself kind of by playing fossil Pokemon, and we were playing like massively strong Pokemon. But I think this was enough to show you guys how the deck functions and show you how explosive and resilient it is. I mean, the opponent did take a knockout, but he had to commit so much to it. And we just basically built 2 other EXs ready to go on our bench, and we were hitting for 150 easily without even having to work too much for that. And with a little bit of work, we could actually be hitting for 170 with a Muscle Band and another Regirock. So yeah, that's the deck for you guys. I'm really excited to be playing fighting types right now. I'm not sure if this is the exact list that I would play, but I think it's a start. I think it's somewhere to try to figure out what's good, what isn't. And tell me what you guys think in the comments below as usual, and I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.